Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple Haze Podcast. I am your host who bleeds purple and gold, Isaac here. So I came to talk since mini camp, training camp is gonna be like 1 or 2 weeks later. So yeah, so basically content will be ramping up till then, basically till like the end of the season, or maybe like summer again, where we don't talk about anything, but the hell with it. We have a couple things. One other than the passing of Kyrie Jackson. What was it, last Sunday? It absolutely sucks. Wait, no, it was last Saturday actually. So condolences out to them. But right now, there's been a lot of talk, about one player that is a former Viking, and him returning to Minnesota, which is Adam Thielen, who is right now on the Carolina Panthers. So, the return of Adam Thielen, basically, where the Vikings traded him like in 2023, because in 2022, where he was not the same wide receiver the fire that he had, in like 2017, 2018, 2019. Those years were, I would say, his peak years. Maybe 2020 and 2021, you could argue with that too. But I would say those are his peak years, or in his prime or something. But that aside, there's been a lot of talk, from Viking fans or Vikings content creators, saying all of this. Well, maybe Adam Thielen, he could return to Minnesota and we can have another strong wide receiver room. And that could be true, and also that would be nice too as well. But but he's not in free agency. That's my thing. He's not in free agency, so I don't know how much the Carolina Panthers are going to charge the Vikings for Adam Thielen. Because let's be real, Adam Thielen is their best player their best offensive player, or their best weapon on offense for Carolina. Let's be honest. So by doing that, we could possibly essentially sacrifice maybe a first or a second for Adam. I don't know if that a first is like realistic, but it could afford that. It could be to the point where the Carolina Panthers are asking for that much. So basically, the idea of it, basically, let's say we take the trading part out of context and say, yeah, basically, Adam Thielen, he's a former Vikings. He gets to return to a new era of a quarterback in J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold. He gets to be with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Powell, T.J. Hawkinson, Robert Tonyan, Aaron Jones. A plethora of players on offense, and also Adam Thielen included. However, though, basically number one is like for trading. Number two, I just don't know if he's like going to be the same receiver, that he was back then in his prime. I just don't know if he is. I'm a little skeptical about this, really. It sounds nice because he's a former Viking and he grew up in Minnesota, and everybody, rightfully so, they were sad, that Adam Thielen left. But however, though, basically there got to be like certain circumstances, to understand that. There's got to be certain things, in Adam Thielen that basically need in order for the trade to work. Because somehow Kwesi was able to sacrifice, not able to sacrifice the first, so they have a first in 2025 draft. So, they have to keep that. Because believe me, I think quality over quantity is what I always say all the time in every single draft. So, it's just how I feel about that really right now. So I don't think really it's a smart move to really bring in Adam Thielen. at this point. But if it was like for a cheaper price, maybe. But he would be more of like a receiver 4 or a receiver 5 right now. So that's basically my take. That's basically my take on the Adam Thielen returning or something like that. Also, basically the Vikings also made a pretty good signing though. They re-signed Cam Akers, who he's basically another running back from the 2023 season. He got injured like week 4, week 5, so which is absolutely unfortunate. But I think he's returning. So he's returning to Minnesota. Oh wait, no, it's not week 4, week 5. Hold on, let me rephrase that for a second. It's not that. It's week 9 against Atlanta or week 10 against New Orleans. It's one of those 2 weeks. I know that much. So they re-signed Cam Akers, which honestly I don't have a problem with this at all, because you need an insurance policy, Let's say Aaron Jones is out. You have to give it to Ty Chandler, obviously, but you also need another running back, which is Cam Akers. I mean, he can make plays too as well. He was probably, I would say, the second best running back on the team, basically, from last year, where, I mean, he was the first one to score a touchdown for the rushing game. I mean, the rushing game was absolutely pathetic last year. So, I mean, it's good to have another playmaker. He can also catch and he can also run. So, but he's much better than Alexander Madison, who was the running back 1 for that team back then, which I believe is going to be Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler to be running backs 1 and 2. But, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to get Cam Akers in there too as well for a few snaps, So I think re-signing Cam Akers definitely strengthens the running game, which you need to win in a championship where every other championship team, they have a running back committee. So, I mean, the Vikings need it. We just have to see, how good it is actually in the season. I actually think it will be good, but we'll just have to see. I mean, if it's good or not. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good signing. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol Vikings.